Hey man, understand this truth. Women don't respect men who make themselves too available, too predictable, too eager to please. They may enjoy the attention, they may tolerate the effort, but they don't respect it. Why? Because deep down, respect is born from risk, and the only men who inspire respect in women are the ones they fear losing. A man who is completely indifferent to her tantrums, who doesn't bend his standards to keep her around, who would rather walk away than compromise his values, that man carries a weight she can't shake off. She may roll her eyes, she may act stubborn, she may even try to downplay it, but deep in her core, she knows this man is rare, because every other man tries to hold her tighter, but he doesn't, and that makes her afraid, not of him, but of losing the feeling he gives her by simply being who he is. When a woman fears losing you, her respect skyrockets, because you've proven you're not bound by her approval. Think about it. Most men crumble the second a woman threatens to leave. They start begging, explaining, compromising, doing everything in their power to fix it. But the man who doesn't do that, the man who says, "Do what you need to do, I'll be fine either way," becomes unforgettable. Because in that moment, she realizes she doesn't control him, he controls himself, and that terrifies her in the best way possible. It terrifies her because she knows if she pushes too hard, if she plays too many games, she won't just lose his love, she'll lose access to his entire world. And that's why women secretly respect men. They fear losing, because his absence would leave a void she can't easily fill, no matter how many men chase her. You have to see how rare this energy is. Most men are terrified of being abandoned. They cling to women, hoping loyalty will buy them love, hoping sacrifice will guarantee commitment. But women don't respect men who fear abandonment. They respect men who accept it as part of the game. A man who fears losing her will always overcompensate. He'll give more than he should, tolerate more than he should, sacrifice more than he should. But the man who doesn't fear loss becomes powerful because loss no longer controls him. He knows women come and go, he knows desire fades and returns, he knows love is not guaranteed, and because of that, he doesn't attach his entire identity to whether she stays or leaves. That calm detachment is what makes her fear losing him, because he doesn't need her to survive, but she needs his strength to feel secure. The respect she has for a man she fears losing shows up in her behavior. Suddenly she's more careful with her words. She thinks twice before picking a fight. She pays more attention to how she looks around him, how she carries herself, how she shows up in the relationship. Why? Because she knows he doesn't tolerate nonsense. She knows he has options. She knows that if she pushes too far, he won't just sit there and take it. He'll walk. And that possibility of losing him keeps her in line, keeps her invested, keeps her putting in effort. It's not fear in the abusive sense, it's respect, born from knowing his standards are immovable. And ironically, while men fear that this approach will scare women away, the opposite is true. It makes women value you more, because in a world full of men who bend, she found one who won't. Here's the paradox. Women claim they want men who worship them, who always reassure them, who never make them feel insecure, but in practice, those men bore them. They lose respect for men who never risk walking away. What they secretly crave, what they never admit out loud, is the tension that comes from being with a man they could lose if they don't show up properly. That tension keeps her invested. That tension keeps her working for your approval, instead of assuming it's permanent. That tension makes her respect you, because she knows your love is valuable, not automatic. And that's the truth most men miss. Women don't respect what's guaranteed. They respect what can be lost. They respect men who know their worth. Men who carry themselves with calm detachment, men who make it clear they don't beg for love, because when she fears losing you, she finally understands she has to earn you. You must understand that women constantly run tests to see if you fear losing them. These tests aren't always loud or obvious. They're subtle, quiet, psychological. She'll pull back her affection slightly. She'll delay her replies to your text. She'll flirt just enough with another man to see how you react. If you panic, if you confront her with anger, if you start over-explaining yourself or demanding answers, she knows you fear loss. But if you remain calm, if you don't react, if you carry on with your day as though nothing has changed, she feels something deeper than guilt. She feels respect. Because in that moment, she realizes you're not afraid to lose her. You don't grip her with desperation. You hold yourself steady, and that steadiness tells her everything she needs to know about who you are as a man. That's why women secretly respect men. They fear losing, because he doesn't flinch when tested. Another way women test this is through emotional storms. She may create conflict out of nowhere, accuse you of things you haven't done, or suddenly pick at your flaws. Why? Because she wants to see if you'll bend under pressure. If you start begging for forgiveness just to keep the peace, if you start apologizing for things you didn't do just to avoid losing her, she knows you're fragile. But if you stay calm in the storm, if you let her rant, let her test, and still respond with composure, she realizes she's dealing with a man who cannot be shaken. And the truth is, women don't stay with men. They can rattle easily. They crave men who can hold steady when they throw their worst. Men who don't lose their frame when emotions run high. That is why, paradoxically, she respects you more when you don't try to appease her at all costs. Because it proves your love doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger in your boundaries. The greatest sign a woman respects you is not in her words, but in her submission to your standards. And the only men women submit to are the ones they fear losing. If she believes you'll tolerate anything, her disrespect, her inconsistency, her confusion, she'll keep testing, keep pushing, keep manipulating. But when she knows there's a line you will not let her cross, when she knows you'll walk away rather than be dishonored, she adjusts herself. She listens differently, she speaks differently, she carries herself differently. And she does this not because she fears punishment, but because she fears loss. She knows that if she doesn't respect you, she'll lose you. And losing a man like you means losing more than just affection. It means losing stability, leadership, and truth. That fear of loss anchors her respect, and it keeps her from sabotaging the very things she values. The irony is that most men try to win women by proving they'll never leave. They say things like, "I'll always be here no matter what," thinking this creates security. But here's the brutal truth. Those words don't inspire love. They inspire complacency. When she knows you'll never leave, she stops respecting you because she knows she can give less and you'll still remain. But when you live in such a way that she knows your presence is earned, not guaranteed, that's when she begins to respect you. Not because you threaten her, not because you play games, but because your actions consistently prove that you're not chained to her. You're chained to your values, your purpose, your truth. And if she aligns with that, she gets to stay. If not, you'll replace her without hesitation. That's the kind of man women secretly admire and fear losing the most. Respect, rooted in the fear of loss, is not about cruelty, it's about clarity. Women don't respect men who are endlessly forgiving of disrespect. They don't respect men who bend every time she cries or sulks. They don't respect men who treat love as an unbreakable chain. They respect men who make love conditional, not on emotion, but on behavior. Because real love without respect cannot exist, and respect cannot exist without the possibility of loss. She has to know that if she disrespects you, she risks losing you. She has to know that if she stops valuing you, you won't continue pouring into her endlessly. She has to know that your love is abundant, but it's not unconditional. It's tied to truth, loyalty, and peace. And when she knows that, when she fears losing that, her respect for you becomes unshakable. That is why women secretly respect men. They fear losing, because those are the only men who actually demand respect in the first place. When a woman fears losing you, you begin to notice subtle but undeniable shifts in her day-to-day behavior. Suddenly, she starts putting in effort without being asked. She takes more care in how she presents herself when she's around you, not because you demanded it, but because she knows your attention is not free. She texts you first more often. She tries harder to keep conversations alive. She plans dates or initiates time together instead of waiting on you to do all the work. And these aren't random acts. They're driven by respect. She knows you're not a man. She can neglect and still keep around. She knows that if she slips into laziness or entitlement, she risks losing her place in your life. And that fear doesn't crush her. It motivates her. It forces her to show up as her best self. Because deep down, she respects the fact that you won't tolerate mediocrity. When she fears losing you, her tone toward you also changes. The sharpness dulls, the sarcasm fades, the constant need to test you softens. She speaks with more kindness, more softness, more patience. Why? Because respect changes how a woman communicates. When she knows she can get away with anything, her words become careless. But when she respects you, she measures them carefully, because she doesn't want to risk losing your presence. And this isn't about you controlling her, it's about her controlling herself. That's what respect does. It makes her aware of her actions. It makes her value your presence enough to restrain her impulses. She doesn't roll her eyes as easily. She doesn't speak out of spite as quickly. She doesn't weaponize her emotions as often. Because in the back of her mind, she knows you're not chained to her. and that knowledge keeps her invested in maintaining harmony instead of chaos. Another way this respect manifests is in the way she treats your boundaries. A woman who doesn't fear losing you will constantly push your lines, seeing how far she can go before you snap. But a woman who does fear losing you will honor those boundaries even when it's inconvenient. If you say you need space, she gives it without protest. If you set standards for honesty, she works harder to be transparent. If you tell her disrespect won't be tolerated, she actively avoids crossing that line. And again, this isn't because she's scared of punishment, it's because she fears the consequences of losing a man she respects. That fear creates accountability. It stops her from taking you for granted. It keeps her aligned with your standards because she knows your standards aren't negotiable. And that's when you see the beauty of respect. It turns boundaries from arguments into agreements because she values you enough to protect the relationship instead of sabotaging it. When she fears losing you, even her jealousy changes. Normally, jealousy in women can be toxic, driven by insecurity and manipulation. But when she respects you, jealousy transforms into vigilance. She doesn't want to lose you to another woman because she knows you're rare. She knows that if another woman gets access to you, she may never get you back. And this fear sharpens her focus. She doesn't play games with your time. She doesn't test you with unnecessary drama. She begins to prioritize keeping your attention by bringing more peace, more femininity, more loyalty. It's not about competition, it's about recognition. She recognizes that your value is high, that other women see it too, and that if she doesn't cherish it, she could lose it. That recognition fuels her respect, and that respect fuels her effort. It's a cycle that only begins when she knows you are not afraid to walk away. And here's the greatest shift. When she fears losing you, she starts loving you in a way that's rooted in reality, not fantasy. Because most women, when they don't fear losing a man, treat love like a game. They give affection when they feel like it, withdraw when they don't, and constantly expect the man to fill in the gaps. But when she respects you, when she knows you won't tolerate emotional chaos, she starts to anchor her love in consistency. She gives more steadily, she communicates more clearly, she invests more intentionally. And while she may never admit that her respect comes from fear, you'll see it in how she prioritizes you. That's the kind of love men truly crave, not the conditional love that vanishes when feelings change, but the respect-driven love that remains steady because she knows you are the kind of man she can't afford to lose. When a woman fears losing you, her energy toward you shifts in ways that are unmistakable. The same woman who once moved lazily through the relationship, expecting you to carry all the weight, now begins to pour energy into you because she knows your attention is valuable. She remembers the little details you mention and surprises you with them. She invests in your hobbies, your passions, your vision, not because you forced her to, but because she respects the reality that you don't give your time to just anyone. She knows that if she stops feeding the connection, you won't hesitate to pull away. And that thought terrifies her. So instead of taking from you endlessly, she starts giving back. And this is the mark of a woman who respects you. She stops thinking about what she can extract and starts thinking about what she can contribute, because she knows she must prove herself worthy of being in your world. The fear of losing you also brings out her most loyal side. Women don't stay loyal to men. They don't respect. They may stay physically, but their eyes and emotions wander. But when she knows she could lose you, loyalty becomes natural. She doesn't entertain the attention of other men as easily, because the thought of disrespecting you feels dangerous. She doesn't flirt. She doesn't indulge in games, because she knows you won't chase her if she strays. You'll replace her, and that knowledge makes her protective of your bond, not reckless with it. Brother, this is why women secretly respect men they fear losing, because she knows her loyalty is not demanded by jealousy or force. It's drawn out by the standards you live by. She respects you enough to guard what you've built instead of sabotaging it with temporary thrills. When she fears losing you, her commitment becomes more visible too. Women who feel secure that a man will never leave often grow complacent. They stop trying. They stop showing appreciation. They begin to expect more while giving less. But when she knows your love is not unconditional, when she knows it's tied to respect and consistency, she begins to work at the relationship like it matters. She initiates plans, she expresses gratitude, she supports your goals instead of resenting them. She invests time and effort because she knows the connection is not guaranteed, and this is where many men fail. They believe love should be unconditional, so they give endlessly, expecting women to do the same. But women respect men who teach them through action that love without respect is worthless. The possibility of losing you keeps her commitment alive because she knows your presence is not permanent if she neglects it. This fear also changes the way she handles conflict. A woman who doesn't respect you will argue endlessly, scream, manipulate, and test your patience because she believes you won't leave no matter what. But a woman who fears losing you approaches conflict differently. She may still get emotional, she may still argue, but she thinks twice before crossing lines that could push you too far. She avoids saying words she can't take back. She avoids disrespect that could cost her your trust. She avoids dragging the fight into places that destroy intimacy. Why? Because she knows you're not the type to tolerate chaos forever. You'll walk if it becomes too much, and that fear tempers her behavior. It doesn't make her perfect, but it makes her more careful. It makes her value peace over ego. And when a woman values peace, it's because she respects the man who provides it and fears losing him if she destroys it. But here's the ultimate transformation. When she fears losing you, she doesn't just change how she treats you, she changes how she treats herself. She starts holding herself to higher standards because she knows being with you demands more. She improves her discipline, her health, her mindset, because she wants to be the kind of woman you actually respect. She doesn't let herself slip into laziness or entitlement because she knows you won't tolerate it. And this self-improvement is not driven by insecurity, it's driven by respect. She sees your value and knows she must elevate herself to match it. And that's the greatest compliment a woman can give a man, to evolve because of him. Not out of fear of punishment, but out of fear of loss. That's the hidden truth most men never understand. Women don't grow for men they control, they grow for men they respect. And respect is always anchored in the possibility of losing you. When you finally grasp this truth, that women respect the men they fear losing, you stop begging for love and start demanding respect through your presence alone. You no longer waste your time trying to convince a woman to value you, because you understand that her respect is not something you can talk her into, it's something you embody. Every action you take, every boundary you enforce, every time you show her that you can and will walk away if your standards aren't met, you reinforce the reality that you are not owned by her emotions, you are owned by your principles. And when she feels this, when she truly senses that you would rather lose her than lose yourself, she treats you differently. She admires you even when she doesn't say it. She fears disappointing you more than she fears being alone. And that's the foundation of her secret respect. It's not built on your words, it's built on your willingness to act without hesitation. This fear doesn't make her weak, it makes her honest. Women will always test, push, and provoke men to see where the limits are, but once they find a man who actually has limits, they respect him, because those limits tell her something important. This man values himself enough to protect his peace. That's why women secretly respect men they fear losing, because deep down, every woman knows she can't fully love a man she doesn't respect. She might stay with him for convenience, she might enjoy his attention, but she won't give him her full heart. Only when she knows that her place in his life depends on her actions, not just her beauty or charm, does she step into the role of a real partner. And while she may never openly say, "I respect you because I fear losing you," you'll see it in how she treats you with consistency, with care, with effort. The respect you gain from a woman who fears losing you is unlike anything you get from women who see you as replaceable. She values your time more, she listens more closely, she seeks your approval without demanding it. She feels proud to stand beside you, because she knows not every man lives with such detachment and strength. And here's the deeper truth. This dynamic makes her more feminine. When she fears losing you, she doesn't try to dominate you. She doesn't try to emasculate you. She doesn't try to control you. Instead, she softens. She leans into her natural role as a nurturer, because she knows you're already strong enough to lead. And that balance is what creates harmony. Your strength allows her softness to thrive. Without the fear of loss, she grows careless. With it, she grows attentive. And that shift reveals what she truly feels about you, even if she hides it under words. But here's where men must be careful. This respect only lasts as long as you remain consistent. If you show strength for a few weeks, but eventually fold under pressure, she will lose respect for you instantly. That's why living this truth isn't about strategy, it's about lifestyle. You can't pretend to be detached, you have to actually be detached. You can't fake indifference, you have to genuinely be okay with walking away, because women are too intuitive to be fooled by words. They feel your energy, they sense your fear, they know when you're bluffing. So if you want her respect, you must live in a way that doesn't depend on her validation. You must build your life, your mission, your peace, in such a way that losing her does not mean losing yourself. That is what makes her fear losing you, knowing that you'll never beg for her to stay because you're already complete without her. So here's the conclusion. Women secretly respect men. They fear losing because those men embody what every woman craves but few ever find: strength that doesn't bend for approval. The man who doesn't fear loss commands respect because he shows her the one truth she cannot deny. She is with him because she adds to his life, not because he needs her to survive. That reality flips the script. It forces her to bring her best self because she knows his love is valuable, his presence is rare, and his world is already complete without her. And while she may never say it aloud, while she may never admit how much it scares her, that fear is the root of her respect. Because a woman can never truly respect a man. She can control, but she will always respect the man she knows she could lose, and that respect, brother, is the only foundation on which love can actually last.